Oh, okay. Welcome to my show. Uh, some of my hobbies are video games. I know. Earlier today, or yeah, while I'm doing this, they showed a Dead Space remake, and if you've never played Dead Space, it's like a horror survival game title, sci-fi set in space. It's a very good game, but they're making a remake of it, and I'm like, whatever. Like, I'm sure it'll be good, but the first one is still badass. Like, I recently replayed the first one and the second one, and they were really good. I still have yet to beat the third one, and I hate myself because I remember pre-ordering the third one and having it, and just never beating it. Like, I don't know, I just never beat it. That's how I am with a lot of games. I think even like Assassin's Creed 2, I never beat. The first one was good though. Uh, I mean, if you're listening, you're not really into video games. Some games are pretty badass, and the way games are now, they're fucking like little long ass movies, you know. Uh, I had I remember years ago when Bioshock came out and playing that, and I cried my eyes out because there's a couple of different endings you can get: the good ending, the bad ending, the neutral ending, or whatever. And I remember getting the good one, and if you don't know it, or you do know it, it's like very emotional. Especially with the characters and all that of the story, fucking cried my eyes out. I really did. And it just depends on what I see or what I watch. Like, I remember crying my eyes out with like Toy Story 3 at the end when they're about to die. Or have you ever seen the movie House of D with David Duchovny and Robin Williams, where Robin Williams plays like a retarded janitor? Man, I cried my eyes out at the end of that one. But as far as video games go, Bioshock, I cried my eyes out. Bioshock 2, but not the main game, the DLC, which was Minerva's Den, right? Minerva's Den? I think so. That was sad. That was really sad. Life is Strange, if you ever played that one, that story game, came out a few years back. They just re-released again. They're fucking re-releasing everything. But that game, I cried. And then the prequel, Before the Storm, for it, cried, fucking bawled. I was just crying my eyes out in Before the Storm, like about fucking Rachel, Rachel disappearing, blah blah blah. But yeah, I bawled with that. And I think about the greatest games that I've ever played, as far as my opinion goes. I know at the top of the list is Mass Effect, the trilogy, and that's a sci-fi action RPG, blah blah blah, third-person shooter. But man, that game is just got a great story. And I'm not even into like Star Wars. I never got into it as a kid. Star Trek's okay, but Mass Effect is just great. And if you've never played it, it's 3 games. There's 1, 2, and 3. And anything you do within the first one, the choices you make affect the story for the second one, and then affect the story for the third one. So it's pretty ahead of its time when it did come out. It was pretty cool. And yeah, I just remember. I just replayed the first one again when they re-released it, and man, it's just a good fucking game. Story wise, even the little stories, the side missions are just all fleshed out and just so good. And I remember every time Mass Effect 2 and 3 came out when I was younger, I remember taking my birthday off because it came out around my birthday. And so I had like a week off to play these games. And I remember Mass Effect 3, I bought the third one, the collector's edition, played the shit out of it. And right at the end, when you beat it, it shows the ending, blah, 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 the screen fades to black. And I remember just seeing my reflection in the TV screen, like the black screen. And I was just this this fat, overweight piece of shit that was, looking at myself, and I'm like, man, I could never save the universe being this fat piece of shit. So I remember, like, legit, starting to work out and jog, and I did like lose a lot of weight because of seeing myself in the reflection of the TV after beating Mass Effect 3. And so I like to contribute that game, Mass Effect 3, from me actually caring about myself and getting in shape. Not that I'm not like that anymore. I hate myself right now. I'm fucking overweight as fuck. I feel nasty. Ugh, I feel nasty right now. I feel like a waste of a person, you know? But yeah, if you've never played Mass Effect 3 or any Mass Effect game, it'll change your life. Not Andromeda so much, the fourth one. The it's like the step brother of the games, you know? It was okay, but it wasn't anything that would change your life like the other three. And if you have played Mass Effect and you're listening to this, look up the indoctrination theory on YouTube. Man, that shit goes like so far into how the ending I think should have been and how it could have been, and it would have been great. But whatever, they didn't choose to go that route. Blah blah blah. But games I used to really play a lot, like Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. I used to rape people online, beat the shit out of them. I was so good with katana, and just beating the shit out of people. Like I don't even mean to brag. Like I'm really good at it at that Ultimate Mortal Kombat. And Miss Pac-Man, I'm pretty good at. Not regular Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, because Miss Pac-Man has like kind of a little modded version where she's faster, so it's more fun. You know, regular Pac-Man's too fucking slow, and you know, Miss Pac-Man is female because she has the bow and the mole and like the lipstick. You know, you know when you could have a character and just make them female by putting a bow on them, like Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse. They're the same person, right? They just have a bow and a dress, but it's Mickey Mouse in a dress. It's like fucking Donald Duck and Daisy Duck. It's the same character, just with a dress and lipstick and a bow. Which reminds me of fucking DuckTales was badass. If you never played DuckTales, the original one on the NES, that game's a classic one. The theme from the moon level, the moon stage, that theme song. If you don't know anything about DuckTales, you've more than likely heard that theme song from the moon because it's just a banger of a fucking music from a video game. But I remember having having a copy of DuckTales 2, physical one, and man, dude, I remember I bought it for like $120, and then I sold it for maybe $150. Now, a physical copy of DuckTales 2, the sequel, goes for like $200-$300. Like it's ridiculous the way prices are now with old retro games, or even anything from the past is like going up in value ridiculously. Like I have a bunch of old games here and like a few systems that I got for maybe 30, you know, and little Game Boy or random Game Boys I got for $30 off of some person on Facebook Marketplace, and now they go for like 80 to 100 to 250, $300 just because people are looking for that shit, you know? And I think of another man as a kid. I'm pretty sure I beat A Link to the Past on Super Nintendo. I feel like in my brain I might not have done it, but I've convinced myself that I've beat A Link to the Past because I remember seeing the ending. Maybe my friend beat it and I was there watching him, but I'm pretty sure I beat it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I remember beating the shit out of Toy Story for the Sega. If you ever played Toy Story, man, I could speedrun that shit. Have you seen speedrunners? The way they fucking tear a game apart bit by bit, like they've plugged themselves into the Matrix. God, dude, it's crazy seeing that shit on YouTube. Like, I see some YouTuber summoning Salt, and he does like documentaries about speedrunners and speedrunning games, and they're like Olympic gold medal worthy type documentaries where I'm like they're rooting for the speedrunner and feeling all of that empathy with them, like, oh my god, they're gonna break a record. And it's just for Mega Man or fucking Mario Kart 64 or something, you know, but they're like putting their whole life and spirit into it. It's funny to think about how it doesn't mean anything in the whole universe of things, but there at that moment it's pretty exciting. So I get it, but it's just also hilarious, you know. Anyway, Diddy Kong Racing's better than Mario Kart or any Mario Kart. Have you ever played Diddy Kong Racing on the 64? It's the best. I've 100%ed that. I can confirm I've 100%ed that because I remember not having very much money when I bought 64 games and beating the shit out of that one because that's all I had was that and maybe like Super Smash. I never beat Mario 64 though. I don't know why. I don't remember having it. I remember having like GoldenEye and Diddy Kong Racing and Super Smash. I never beat Zelda 2 for the 64. Was it Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask? Either of those. I never beat them. They look fucking hard as fuck too. Even the remasters and shit that supposedly fix all the hard things, you know, they still look hard as fuck. But whatever. I remember too as a kid going to my buddy's house, and he had a Sega. I remember I had a Sega at some point too, but he had a Sega. He had all these games because he was the only child, so he gets spoiled. And he had NFL Blitz, and I would be there playing against him, and I would be beating him. And every time I'm about to beat him, he would reset the game, and he'd be like, "Let's start over." And I would beat him like nothing, and I wasn't even like good at football. I was just good at video games, you know. And he was more of the sporty guy, so he like took pride in beating me at sports games, but he just never could because I was just that good at them, you know. But whatever, you know. That's just how things were. And nowadays, with the way graphics are on video games, man, like I don't know, it's ridiculous. I played a game like Heavy Rain, and that one's not even a recent game. If you haven't played Heavy Rain, that game is good for the PS3. Even though I fucking hate the PlayStation, Heavy Rain was good for the PS3. If you never played Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice, that they have on all systems now, but man, that is a good game, Hellblade. It's a game that really touches on mental illness. Like I could play Hellblade and really know the character because I suffer from the same type of mental illness that's just eating at your brain, you know. And more recently, I played. I don't know if I talked about a game called Omari, which is it's a lot like Earthbound, like a kid type looking Japanese RPG. And man, Omari, if you know, man, that story was fucked up for Omari, and it looks like a friendly kids game, but oh my god, that game fucked with me too. That was like, oh, I get this. This is sickness. This is mental sickness, you know. But yeah, now at my age where I'm just a tired old piece of shit, I want to play video games. I just am too lazy and too tired, and all this medication I take just makes me not care, you know. But who knows? Maybe I'll start playing again, especially with Dead Space coming out again, and they just keep remaking everything again, and hopefully they remake some sort of a fucking pill that helps my fucking brain care about existing, you know. But we'll see. I'll keep calling the pharmacy and see if they get that shit in. But yeah, I'm a piece of shit. Take care.